good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Hey and welcome to Weekly Tips, where I'm putting some sense in your tip jar. Welcome today. Today you're joined by me, Daniel, and we're going to be talking to you about managing your toolbar. So, toolbar is something on the side here. If you haven't learnt by now, you know, it's where all your tools are here in Photoshop that you can use. Now if you don't have one here, then you must have deleted it or put it somewhere out of its place. So you'll need to go and Windows and make sure your tools are on. Other than that, they should be there on the side. If you're opening up Photoshop for the first time, they should be on the side like this. They may be like this. You can, make it smaller or bigger, depends on what you like. For me, I do like it with all my tools kind of in a category like this. You can put it wherever you like. You can put it on another screen. You can put it in between these places here if you like your tool somewhere else. But for me, definitely, and usually the default is here on the side. And yeah, it depends on how you like working. You could have your tools really like close to the canvas or something to make them easier. But for me, I don't use like a lot of tools at once per se. I have tools for specific things and things like that. So I don't have to change my tools a lot. So just being on the side is fine for me. You may like them over here because you might be left-handed, right-handed, so they're really easy to kind of select over here and start to go like this rather than going like this, but it's up to you. Anywho, down here we have a toolbar. Now I was going to go in preferences, but preferences, there's a lot there that is kind of not exactly too really kind of boring and not too much detail in there for a lot of artists and illustrators and photographers. However, preferences, there are some like plugins and things like that, and interfaces and things you can change as well. But yeah, I wanted to go into toolbars today, so that's where we'll go today. And yeah, this is real easy. Here is your toolbar section, and this is where all your tools are, and they're in categories here. Next to it, it has a letter, and I think the letter is what letter you use to do that, but then it's like move tool V, yeah, G. I think you might be yeah, you can change the letters of what letters those tools do as well. V, L, 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 like you can change. Obviously you might want to change a lot of them if you do want to create shortcuts for them. I don't use the shortcuts of them, but if you, apart from like Control T, I use that to size something up. Watch T, select tool, it's type tool apparently, but I use that to change things. There's not many that I use, but anywho, this is your list. So up here you can see I've got these two down here. So in that first tool, I've got two little tools here. I've got the artboard tool and I've got the move tool. And then in the rectangle selection tool, I've also got the elliptic tool, so forth and so forth. And this is how they're all here. It looks like artboard tool, and I've got a crop tool here. I've got a perspective crop tool. These are mostly default, but however, this is 2020's Photoshop, and when I first kind of installed 2020's Photoshop, I didn't have some of the tools that I usually use. I was looking for a couple of tools, like I think it was the paint bucket tool or something, that they didn't have in the default, so I had to find out how to do this. So for you coming into 2020's Photoshop, it may be helpful to go through this video and learn this stuff. But yeah, and go into properties. So how to get here is basically edit, toolbar, and there you have all your extra tools that you can add. So you have your frame tool here. If you want to add your frame tool, that's quite a cool tool. Then you can select where you want to put it. If you want to put it in its own category, if you want to put it in another category in its own category, you want to get rid of it. Yeah, it's up to you. Mixer brush tool, that's a nice tool. So maybe I want to put it in my brush tool set here, and categorize it that. It's up to you how you work it. You may want, 20, if you go like this, you may want the whole screen kind of filled with each individual tool, or you could have just one tool like with them all, where you go like so that's done. If I go like this, I can select what tool I want. If I could have it that way, that will keep it nice and tidy. Usually they're categorized in what type of tool, like, so we've got our Paintbrush Tool down here, and in the Paintbrush Tool I've got pencil and mixer brush, so they're all in the same kind of categories. Usually you can do that, that's kind of easy. But this, showing you how to do this and learning kind of yourself how you want to do your toolbar. You can restore to default, so you can go back to your default. You can make presets, so you could save a certain kind of toolbar you like, and load it into another. Maybe you might have multiple computers, you could do that and load it into another, so that it's all set for you. You don't have to kind of redo this all the way you like to work. So this gives you another little option to really customize and make Photoshop look and feel like the way you want it to feel like. And this is really helpful to do. It's great to have these options out there in these softwares. Yeah, to have all these options that you can change and manipulate the way you use your softwares. It's always great to have, always great to see. There are a lot of good ones, and some of them, you can get that kind of restrictiveness of how they work, their software works. And there are some that have those good options. It's always great to see that they've got these options out there that really, it can make a big difference. It can make no difference to some people, but it can help. If you don't want so many tools in your tool panel, you don't use tools like, for instance, 3D material eyedropper tool. I don't ever think I'll use that, so I don't need it there. I don't feel like it needs to be there. Exactly the same if I put it into here, I might accidentally, I don't know how, but I could click down accidentally some point and click a tool that I don't want, and then start using it, and then be like, oh, damn it, I'm using the wrong tool. Those things could happen, so maybe you could take it off your toolbar if you don't need it, and things like that. So it's really great to see that that's there, and there's all these tools that you may be missing, or that you didn't think there was, that you could add to your toolbar and might become really handy for you, or might just sit there. Awesome. Well, hopefully you did learn something today about managing your toolbar, and hopefully you do go out and try and just feel free to manage your own toolbar, make it look swabby with everything in it, or tying it down to what tools you use. At any point you can chop and change it, so yeah, go for it. Feel free to let me know down in the comments if you do ever change your toolbar, if there's certain tools you don't use, you just kind of cut back, or you have all the tools in your toolbar. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything in there. I'll be interested to know. yeah, thanks for coming in, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and we'll keep drawing, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.